Yo nunca había bailado, pero lloré por ningún querer, pero hoy que regreso comprendo mi error, y hoy que vuelvo a implorar por tu cariño.
Necesito que me digas si me quieres. Yo realmente estoy de ti enamorada. Y si piensas engañarme, no lo hagas. Otro engaño no resiste el corazón. Que te quiero, tú bien sabes que te quiero. Y quererte más, mi amor, es imposible. Hoy mi corazón por eso está muy triste, al no ser correspondido por tu amor.
Traigo un sentimiento, pero si tú vuelves conmigo, te enseñaré. Yo nunca había bailado, pero hoy en día me he entusiasmado con ese ritmo de la charanga, porque me he dado cuenta que hasta los cocos botan la mula.
Hi.
Hi. Are you ready? Or would you want to? We're live.
I think we're ready.
We're good.
Mhm.
All right. I think I want to start by introducing ourselves to the artist and to everybody out there watching. Hello, everybody watching. This is Mr. Balde Munoz, legendary Tejano pioneer. And here is a lovely picture I found of my dad, Juan Guerrero, and Laura Jean's dad, Cecilio Garza, with Tacho Rivera, and our guest for today, Mr. Balde Munoz. So welcome, Mr. Balde Munoz.
Good morning.
Thank you. Primeramente, permíteme saludarles a ustedes, and I want to congratulate both of you, Laura Jean and Gigi, of course. This great show que están haciendo está tremendo, right?
Wow.
It's something, ¿cómo te diré? Muy especial para nuestra cultura, right? Porque la música tejana, pues es nuestra, es de nuestra cultura, del México americano, ¿verdad? Ya sea, the evolution of música tejana has evolved, to certain other styles and this and that. Pero los viejitos como nosotros que venimos de por allá, de cuando empezó la onda, ¿verdad? Pues es muy especial. And I must congratulate you all for this great show, right? Because it's very informative. It's for the books. It's for the history of our culture, of our people, of our Tejano music lovers. And los que quieran entrarle de nuevo, por primera vez a la música tejana, pues bienvenidos. Y un saludo para todos los que ya están viéndolos ahorita por aquí a través de Facebook.
Yes.
Amigo Balde Muñoz, les mando un abrazo muy cariñoso a todos ustedes este domingo bonito, muy airoso por acá en el valle, pero it's lovely weather out there. And good morning. We all just got up.
That's why it's noonish. That's why.
And we want to thank you for joining us because, and thank you for your kind words. That means more than you could know to us, because the whole reason why me and Gigi hit it off, first of all, was because we have in common the stories that we shared that we've learned through our dads. But then the stories that we've heard of people like you, and that we've been so fortunate enough to be around in your circle to hear you, and we just would more than anything like to share that with people that are not around you. You know, and we've been blessed that we have grown up hearing things that we know as adults. They're historically relevant and they're socially relevant, and nobody has maybe, I mean, you guys do a million interviews. I know, I've seen them, you know, and but I feel like when we get to talk to you, it's more personal and we get to share that with the world. So or share that with, like you said, anyone who follows the Tejano music or history, or especially, you know, our heart is in the valley.
Right.
Our heart is in the valley. I'm in Corpus right now, but my heart is in the valley because my family's in the valley, and our history's in the valley. So thank you.
Oh no, thank you for inviting me, and I know you know a lot of the history because your fathers were legends, right? They're legends. Cecilio Garza, Los Casinos, quién no lo conoce? And of course the late Juan Guerrero, pues qué bárbaro. Puros legendarios, sus padres, ¿verdad? So I know they've told you lots of stories. They might have exaggerated once in a while, like we all do, right? But no. Pero sí, ellos anduvieron por muchos años en la onda también, full time, right? Year after year. But muy grandes amigos, grandes talentosos amigos nuestros.
And they speak so highly of you.
Oh my goodness. No lo crean.
So highly.
Now, I'm going to mention, of course, that, you know, Balde Munoz, ¿quién no ha escuchado quién es el nombre Balde Munoz, especially in la onda tejana? Now, but as I started to do my research, and I kept seeing album after album after album, and the groups you were with and you were associated with, and I thought, whoa, I was overwhelmed. And anybody out there that doesn't know your history, you're in for a treat and a shocker. Like for me, of course, la gente de la generación that started this, they know your background, but I knew some of it. I didn't know all of it and how far you go back. It's amazing. But before we start all of this, I'm going to show you a little treat. Us, as daughters of Tejano legends, I want to share something with you that I found that was totally awesome.
Y mi corazón no más quiere estar solo contigo. Mi corazón se pasa de bueno contigo. Mi corazón no más quiere estar solo contigo.
Mi corazón se pasa de bueno contigo. Mi corazón no más quiere estar solo contigo.
How special is that? How special was that, Mr.
Oh my goodness. That was very, very special. That was that's my daughter Maritza.
Yes.
Really? Wow.
Right, and that we recorded that song. You want me to tell you a little bit of the history?
All of it. Not a little bit. All
Well,
of it.
After 10 years of recording as Fandango USA, we wanted to do something special for our 10th anniversary, right? And pues we were recording up with Freddie Records in Corpus Christi. Y luego, pues, ¿qué hacemos? ¿Y qué hacemos, verdad? Hasta entonces, I came home during the week or whatever, and I heard somebody singing in the bedroom, right? And of course, I have Vanessa, my other daughter, y las dos les gusta la música. They were musically inclined as well as my son, Balde, right? And they both played clarinet with the, school marching band, and my son played drums and with the band. Also, anyway, throughout the years, and of course at the PSJA, right?
Oh, cool.
And with the Raiders also here in FAR. Pero como quiera, pues abrí la puerta a ver quién estaba cantando. I didn't know if it was Vanessa or Maritza, and it was Maritza. I didn't know you could sing. Said, I can't that. I think she was singing Selena's song, something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or a Madonna song, that's what they all like. So, like, you know what? When I went back to the studio, I talked to Hugo and, of course, to Freddie Martinez, and I said, you know what? Why don't we bring a female in? Because en ese tiempo, ahorita hay muchas female singers, right?
Yes.
including both of you who sing beautifully, right? Both of you.
Oh, thank
And
you.
but at that time, pues no había muchas en camino, right? Este, and then so dijeron, yeah, that's a good idea. So pues estaba bien verdecita, ¿no? Nunca había cantado con nadie ni nada, ¿verdad? Pero le dije, come on, mija, let's go. And no, Dad, y que no, le dije, siempre ahí you'll be coached or whatever, tú sabes. So anyway, pues fue lo que hicimos y grabamos esa canción que se llama Mi corazón se pasa de bueno contigo. She had a part in the song, right? Pero it became a big hit, and they played it all around San Antonio, Dallas, and everywhere. And then, pues, of course, the Tejano Music Awards, that song was nominated for whatever. So I had to take her up there, and we did the performance there. Then, like, ¿sabes qué? You want to hit the road?
Oh, wow. That is so cool.
So at the time, she had the time to do it, right? Y dijo, well, okay, yeah. So she traveled with us for a couple of years. And pues la
Wow.
llevamos para pues todo Texas y, New Mexico, Arizona y que Chicago y que Florida y que este y que el otro, por donde quiera. Through the heat and through the snow and through everything. So la bautizamos muy bien, ¿verdad?
She got
So then she got a record offer from EMI, Latin. So le dije, pues, órale.
Wow.
So she recorded an album for them, a CD.
Was it
And
this?
then she made her own band. Ah, mira, pues ahí está el CD.
Oh, she is beautiful.
Pues como dicen todos, sacó a su mamá. So after a while, she traveled for a while, right? She would tour with Bobby Pulido because the Pulidos and our family, we'd been close friends since chiquillos, ¿verdad? Bobby de chiquitos ahí jugaban y todo. Total, to make a long story short, después dijo, you know what, Dad? I think I'm going to go back to school, right? So, yeah, well, that's the best thing you can do. Dijo, yeah, dijo, because, como, it's a lot of politics and this and whatever. Pero other reasons, right?
It's not easy.
And she had always wanted to be a nurse, right?
Oh, wow.
And she aspired to be a nurse. And dijo, I'm going to go back and finish, and get my degree. So she became a registered nurse. And pero yo sé que le encanta la música, and her heart is here too, right, with the música tejana and toda clase de música, right?
Oh, yeah.
Pero también le gustaba mucho lo del nursing, right? Even though she's a stay-home mom now, se la pasa de aquellas, como que...
Oh, nice. Nice.
De aquellas, it's a lot of work to be a stay-at-home mom. It's a lot of work, no breaks.
So your daughter, Marita, and I thought that was just a great way to kind of introduce you to us, which makes it so special that because we're daughters of Tejanos, legends that she was too, and
Right.
you had that experience too. But let's get to the nitty gritty, Mr. Balde Munoz. You have been, I asked Mr. Balde Munoz to send me some pictures to put up. Some pictures. Well, what and albums? I stopped counting at 20. How many albums was that? Maybe
Wow.
was it 30? Is it about 30 albums?
Probably around 30, some close to 40, probably.
Close to 40 albums. This
If I keep digging, I'll find some more, right? You'll start to find them right now. Right? They're all over the place.
Yeah, and because you've been on so many albums and you worked with, with your bands, let's just start at the very beginning. And then just to let you know, and everybody watching, thank you for watching. I'll just stop for a minute and address my everybody that's commenting on here, and then we'll go on from there, and then you keep on going. I don't want to
interrupt
you. So
I'm so sorry to interrupt you now. The comments are not coming up on the screen.
I know, I'm just about to do it.
Perfect. Okay,
Yeah.
Mr. Dana's with us. Good morning, Mr. Dana.
Lalo Reina's here with us. Gigi, Lori, and Compadre Balde from Tejano Legend Pioneers here in Texas and around the U.S. and Mexico. 17 chapters and counting.
Wow.
Yes, and Mr.
That
Balde,
is amazing.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Daniel Garcia. Hello. And we've got Mr. Eddie Garza. Hello.
Hi, Tio Eddie. That's my uncle.
All right. So going back to, because I have to switch between comments and photos. Where your beginnings? Let me find that picture. Let me find that awesome picture. And of course, we heard in the promo, más o menos some of your biggest hits with. Since you're not a singer, we're not realizing that you're in that band, and for those of us that don't know,
Keeping that heartbeat and the drums there.
that's right. So while I'm looking for that picture, platícanos de your big. Here we go. I think that's the one I wanted to show. Was that the beginning? Part of it?
Yes, touring and all that. That was the beginning. Before that, I had another beginner's beginning, right? I'll briefly tell you how I started playing drums, and that was I was a teenager, and me gustaba la música, ¿verdad? And había un amigo que tenía drums. He was from San Juan, y le pregunté que si vendía sus drums. Dijo que sí, y ya ni me acuerdo cuánto me dijo. And of course, I asked my dad, can we buy drums? I didn't even know how to play them, right? I was intrigued by drums, right? And of course, we didn't know it, but we were poor, right? And like many families en aquellos años. And dijo, pues, ¿cómo le hacemos? And, este el otro. Y le dije, come on, dad. So, pasó un día, pasó otro, y luego le pregunté a mi amigo, oye, ¿no la fías? How about in payments, man? Dijo, yeah, whatever. So I asked my dad, pues dice que en pagos, dad, Yo creo le terqué mucho al pobre, may he rest in peace. Y dijo, bueno, pues vamos a ver, y ya fuimos, y pues sí, we made a deal, ¿verdad? And at that time, pues era poquito dinero, right? Pero para nosotros era bastante. So I took him home and everything. Oh, we took him home because I didn't drive. I was, young. Entonces, pues me le quedaba viendo los drums, y los drums se quedaban viéndome a mí. ¿Ahora qué vas a hacer? Y yo, pues no sé. So I saw my friend at school. Le dije, oye, bro, ¿cómo se ponen las tamboras, verdad? I didn't have any idea. So, a few days later me enseñó, pues esto lo pones para esto, y este es para acá. Aquí pones el snare, y bueno. So, by that time, había un salón en Far, se llamaba the Blue Moon. It was on Cage. I'm sorry, it was on Business 83. I don't know if you're familiar with, there's a Kentucky Fried Chicken yendo para San Juan, from Far to San Juan. Ahí estaba ese salón, the Blue Moon.
Oh, wow, that's
And ahí, pues, it was in the very, I think, the late 50s and early 60s. Can you imagine? Way back then.
Wow.
And I used to go to the dances, but en ese tiempo iban familias, right? And the mom and dad and the kids and this and that. Pero ahí tocaban like Paulino Bernal, el Conjunto Bernal, Freddy Martínez, Tony de la Rosa, Rubén Vela.
Oh, wow.
And some of the oldest legends who really paved the way for us, right?
Yes.
So, me gustaba zapatear. Yo no sé cómo bailaba o qué, pero era cuando las mujeres se paraban todas en un bonche por allá, right? Y los hombres acá, y se hacían ojitos y el otro, right? Y pues ibas y nombrabas.
Ojitos.
But anyway, then I started hanging around the bandstand, and I started looking at the drummers, watching the drummers, and a ver qué podía levantar, and then I would go home and practice, and that's the way I got started. Tamborero callejonero, right?
But we all have to start somewhere. Saludos. This is important. Juan Mendoza Jr. He says, how you doing, brother? Hope you're doing good. We missed you in San Antonio. Juan Mendoza, if you're not watching us live on Facebook, then you can catch this show on Tejano TV through Mas Chingon Radio, tejanotv.com, which is a Roku channel, or through your Fire Stick. So just to let you all know, if you're not catching this, tell your friends, your family, catch it on Tejano TV. Thank you, Mr. Munoz. And
then Joe Hernandez was there as well. Hey, Joe. I think I saw him in there. But Mr. Balde, the way you say you hung out around the bandstand, a lot of people say that they learned by watching the drummers.
Yeah.
And then later people say, they'll watch people like you or watch other people and just be like fascinated at how good they are and learn from them. So that's interesting that you said that.
Going back to that picture that you showed before about Carlos,
yeah,
that was I recorded a couple of albums. That was Carlos Guzmán y su conjunto. Carlos and the Late Snowball and Chore, of course, and Mel Villarreal. But before that, my story is similar or just like almost like Armando Hinojosa Jr., Chores, right? Because I played locally con conjuntos primero with Maggie Cáceres o conjunto, and well, before that, when I barely started playing, I had some friends in Edinburgh. I don't know how they found out that I played drums, pero en ese tiempo, como ahora, pues hay clubs and bars and this, y pues casi antes era pura cantina, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they asked me if I wanted to play with them en la cantina, y pues yo estaba chavalón, right? I was a teenager. Ya había levantado como acompañar polquitas y cositas. So, pues me iban a pagar, right? So, hey, man, I'm going to be professional, right? So, my dad would drive me to the cantina here in Edinburgh, and he would stay there, probably drink a couple of beers, and he would ask the guys, hey, be sure to take him home after, 12, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And they would bring him home, and then, of course, next day to school, y así. Ahí aprendí un poquito. Después me junté con unos amigos de aquí, dos hermanos, Rubén y Leonzo Cantú. They played accordion and bajo sexto. And we were all teenagers before the Carlos Guzmán thing, right?
Uh-huh.
And we had a singer, le decíamos Frijoles, no sé por qué. That was his nickname. Everybody had nicknames back then. And Alfredo Martinez se llamaba. May he rest in peace. And I think we played una vez in a little garage party, some local family. That was it. Then I joined Maggie Cáceres y su conjunto. Ahí andaba legendary Tony Torres, El Hormigón.
Yeah.
Hormigón.
That's how they know him.
Yeah, El Hormigón. And of course, Maggie Cáceres and Lupe on the bass and myself on the drums. I played with them for a little while. Then that's when I joined Oscar Hernandez, the great accordionist from far.
Yes.
And I knew Oscar since we were little because my parents were his padrinos, right?
Oh.
So we lived, just a few blocks from each other. And Oscar tocaba el acordeón de que estaba bien chiquillo, right? He was very young. And well, I'm going to add a little bit.
Sure.
Going back, way back, there was a little dance, not a dance hall, una plataforma en FAR, en la colonia, on East Bell and Dahlia Street. Le decían la Sociedad Mutualista. Un señor, Dios lo tenga en paz, Ramón Martínez, hacía bailes. Oscar lived about a block away from there, and I lived about 4 blocks away from there. Entonces íbamos a pie, ¿eh? My mom and my daddy, los pollitos, ahí vamos. Y había puras banquillas, alrededor. La gente se sentaba ahí al aire libre y tocaban los 3 haces de Ricardo Guzmán, Arturo Niño, Rubén Vela,
Wow.
And Oscar and I would stand by the bandstand, and we were real young, pero Oscar ya tocaba. Oscar oía algo en el acordeón que alguien hizo, ¿verdad? Que le gustaba, y dice, vamos para la casa. So, por el callejón nos íbamos y sacaba el acordeón, and he would learn the part. Yeah, okay, let's go back. So that's that's since then that I knew Oscar, right? So anyway, entré con Oscar Hernández y su conjunto. Ahí andaba Carlos Guzmán, y andaba the late Snowball, and Oscar en el acordeón, ¿verdad? And Chore en el bass. So I joined in with the drums. So we played for a while with Oscar Hernandez. Then, of course, we decided to form this other band, Carlos Guzmán y su conjunto. So venimos todos, Snowball and Chore and myself. And that's like Chore said, that's when we found Mel, right? I mean, we knew Mel, right? Pero
Right.
Mel tocaba todo, guitarra, I mean, bajo sexto, bass y acordeón. So Mel joined us and we formed Carlos Guzmán y su conjunto, which is this picture you're looking at.
Yeah.
And later, we changed the name. I recorded that album, and then I recorded another album donde ya era Carlos Guzmán y los Fabulosos Cuatro. Le cambiamos el nombre a los Fabulosos Cuatro. And ahí grabamos el greatest hit de Carlos, ¿verdad? Vestida de blanco. And
Yeah.
right after that, pues I had to change my drums for a rifle. I got drafted. So I went
Yes. Thank
to...
you for your service.
Oh, you're welcome. And pues me la pasé un año en North Carolina and then my second year in Vietnam. So, and esa es la historia de los Fabulosos. Yo, myself with the Fabulosos, right?
So you were at the very beginning right there also along with Armando Hinojosa and
Right.
yeah, wow. That's where I didn't realize that and as soon as I realized that, I mean, you are. I mean, I have mentioned it to Lori that you're like the quiet giant of Tejano.
No, para nada.
Because
No,
you've
no.
been there de todos los grandes.
Yes, and then when you say y'all learned watching on the little stage in FAR, what better music lessons than to learn from those people like that?
Of course.
And I think that's what makes the connection between you and what you learned from them, and you brought that with you along your with your accomplishments and the music you've created since then. It's like you're continuing their lessons, their influences. And I love that you're bringing that up because you're saying how the families would go together. It was open air, stage in FAR.
Right.
Who else would be able to explain what that's like if not you?
Pues es que yo estoy muy maduro, ya estoy más para allá que para acá, ¿verdad? Pero that was my beginnings, right? And before I go on, when I left for the service, the late Juan Hinojosa was with the band. He would travel with us, right? And of course, como dijo Chore, le enseñó a tocar tamboras y lo poquito que aprendía ahí en el camino. And he took over as the drummer for the Fabulosos and for other bands. Like he was with the Latin Breed for a while, and he was a tremendous drummer.
Yeah, Chore shared that with us, and that story of how Chore taught him Juan how to play the drums. I thought that was so cute.
I saw the show, yeah.
Yeah, that was a great one. But there are some people joining us that would like to say hello.
I wanted to put on some comments there, Web, and let me give out the names: Joe Fonseca, Israel Garcia, JP Pro, Alex Verreal, DJ Alex, Robert Vasquez, Henry Zimmerly. Thank you, everybody, for joining in. We've got the tremendous Tejano pioneer, Balde Munoz, with us today and telling us his stories. Let me throw some more pictures. Because of all the pictures, let me just show a few out there. Now, this is a dark history in our Tejano time. And how we're all interconnected with each other. And I know it's tough, but I think it's important to know this. Tell us about him.
Oh, my brother Wally. Yeah, Dios lo tenga en paz. He was a drummer. Huh? He became a drummer. Excuse me. And he played, of course, con los casinos.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was a drummer with los casinos for a while. And ahí andaba, es cuando andaba Roberto Pulido también ahí con los casinos. And my brother Wale was on the drums. And then, of course, siempre nosotros en la familia, bueno, como my brother Wale and my late brother Oscar and myself, we always kind of aspired like the business end of things, right? When because I went to Pan Am, it was Pan Am College at that time. I went for a couple of years, and my major was going to be business administration or some kind of business, right? But then por andar en la música y at that time, como Cecilio platica y of course Juanito sabía que las giras eran de 2 meses o 3 meses.
Yes.
So the Fabulosos, we had this tour, pa, la misma correteada de todos, Arizona y California, Oregon y Idaho and all that, Ohio and whatever. Excuse me. So that semester I didn't go to school, right? So dije, no, pues déjame calarle. No, pues Uncle Sam dijo, no, vente. So me pescaron. Excuse me, it was during the Vietnam War. So if you weren't in school, or if you were the only son, or if you had a son in the war, not they wouldn't draft you, right? Pero pues they got me, so I went. So, and como quiera, pues Wally anduvo con los casinos, then he wanted to make his own band, so he made a band called Wally Munoz y los Super Traviesos, and he recorded a couple of albums también, and then pues la tragedia muchos saben y muchos no saben, pero they were coming from around the area de Goliad, por allá, ¿no? Back home after a gig, and they had a big van, one of those como se usaba antes, the Rainbow Bread and all those big vans. Sí, estaba compuesta with bunks and all that. And he was driving, they were coming back to the valley. And venían llegando a Beeville, Texas, coming south. But according to the DPS, a drunk driver, the highway was only 2 lanes, right? Mm-hmm. So había una curva. So this drunk driver got onto my brother's lane. And when my brother saw him, he was driving. He tried to go to the middle because en la orilla había un arroyo and there was a barricade there. He couldn't go to the right. So they both met head on the center of the road. So it was a tragic accident. Los dos tanques explotaron la gasolina. It was terrible. The whole band perished. The whole band.
So
I brought it up is because the whole band,
right?
But also Los Chicanos didn't have a gig that weekend, so our drummer Pacho,
Yeah,
que era muy amigo de ustedes, de los Traviesos, went on that gig as well. He wasn't even part of the band; he was just hanging out.
I know.
Y él también falleció.
It was terrible.
Yes, and those are part of los miedos. Nosotros que nos quedamos en la casa, esos eran los miedos, sabiendo que that's something that was always a possibility. And back then there was no cell phones, there was no GPS. We didn't know where you guys were. Did you get to where you were going? Is everything okay? We didn't know any of that. And like I said, it's a tragic part in our history, pero es de todos. Porque esas tragedias pasan y nosotros we all felt it. We all did. I mean, pero so if there's a lesson to learn from it, at least now I believe it's a 4-way now, right? That curve isn't there anymore, if I understand.
I haven't been through that road in a long time. Ahora está puro toll road y que el otro.
Sí.
Pero sí, era a skinny little road.
Yeah, little road.
Yeah.
That's it. And while we're talking about your brothers también and this guy right here.
Oscar, yeah, my late brother. Oh, he was a talker, a joker, and everything, right? Él y Cecilio se daban
Te daban vuelo.
los chistes y las onceras, pero, you know, Oscar, being que he didn't go to college, or I think he barely graduated, jugaba mucha hooky and all that stuff. Le gustaba mucho el VR. My older brother would have to go find him at the pool hall. Hey, vete para la escuela, you know. But anyway, he got involved with music also as primero as a roadie, right? With I don't know if you remember, Chore mentioned Cuate Salinas.
Yes, he did.
He had his own band, right, for a while. And my brother used to travel with him, right? Y de ahí se fue cuando Roberto Pulido hizo su band, se fue con Roberto Pulido. So he became Roberto's booking agent manager, right? Pues eran compadres y cuánto, ¿verdad? También. So anduvo con Roberto por bastante tiempo, and he was good at it, no porque era mi hermano, ¿verdad? Pero después de eso, con Roberto, fue cuando we formed another band, Snowball and Company. Ahorita les platicamos de eso, ¿verdad? Pero entonces se vino con nosotros. And that's when Roberto brought in his dad to take over lo que hacía Oscar. Y pues familia, ¿verdad? So, y nosotros pues familia también, ¿verdad? So Oscar se vino con nosotros. And he started booking all the rest of the bands that I had, right? And back in 97, we had been nominated for a Grammy Award. Excuse me, with Fandango. It was the 10th anniversary que les platicamos ahorita con Maritza, que she joined us for that CD. Y también, it's a sad story, but it's history, right? And Freddie Records had rented a big place downtown San Antonio. We have been nominated along with Ramon Ayala and La Mafia and Los Chamacos. And so Freddie made a big fiesta. Iba a haber cena y música and everything else. And my brother, knowing so many friends from all over, he started calling a lot of people. Y platicamos nosotros, le platico a mi wife, it was like he knew something or he felt something. He gathered a lot of our friends and his personal friends. So anyway, before everything started there in the lobby, he had a massive heart attack. And,
oh, no.
Like when llegamos al hospital, of course, he had passed away. And so Freddie canceló, ¿verdad? La fiesta, parte de la fiesta, no música ni nada. Pero
that is tragic.
¿Qué pasa?
Sí, son cosas que pasan.
But he did so much good. Look at everything that he did.
Oh my goodness. He kept us working regardless. Like with Fandango, regardless who was singing, regardless who was drumming or playing keyboards or whatever, we always found a way. We used a lot of strategy, a lot of thinking, a lot of planning. How do we work around this new singer? Pues al rato les platico más cosas de eso, ¿verdad?
All the business side of it. That's pretty awesome. The planning and the business end of it.
Right. And he kept the guys in line and everything. And he se mareaba a los promotores, le decía chistes and this and that, los tenía risa y risa. But anyway, he was a character.
Joining us is Eddie Olivo and everybody else, Elva Short, Galvan, Benito Rios, JP Pro, Alex Castillo. Let's see, saludos mi amiga Eddie Olivo, Gigi Guerrero, and Lori Jean, and legendary Balde Munoz. Great interview. Hi, Eddie Olivo. I hope you're doing good. You're still in our thoughts and prayers always. Siempre.
¿Me permite saludarles, por favor, tantito?
Yes, of course.
Eddie Olivo, he's done a lot for la onda tejana, nuestra onda. And if there's a record collector out there, he's one of them. He's one of the best. Una vez, yo grabé con Oscar Hernández una polka en un bossa nova también, ¿no? And funny story, porque me dijo Oscar, vamos a grabar una polka y un bossa nova. Digo, oye, Otto, ¿qué es Bossa Nova? Pues bien, yo estaba chavalón bien verde. Anyway, so I learned the beat, pero estaba platicando con Eri Olivo a few years back en una entrevista y le conté de eso y le dije, pues, I've been looking for that 45 and, I wish I had it. And right away me puso en text, is this it? Le dije, yeah, that's it. Dijo, well, I'll send it to you. Y hombre, Eddie, I don't know how much time he spent. Dijo, I'm going to send you everything you've recorded.
Wow.
Y me mandó 2 USBs llenos de música de todos los grupos con que anduve. And I hear him every day in my car at home and everything. And Eddie, thank you so much. If you're still there, I appreciate it, brother.
Yeah.
Yes, he's amazing. He did something similar recently, and I didn't want to like blast it out there. I just shouted, said a thank you. Incredible. Some of the things that he sent us on a USB.
Sí, también.
Oh my gosh. How do you do that? It's like he should have his own library. His own libraries, like artifacts in themselves.
Right.
Speaking
Sí,
of libraries, I'm gonna, Mr. Balde Munoz, what I'm gonna do, porque son tantos los album covers que me mandaste, I'm just gonna go one by one just to show everybody, and then we can come back, whichever one you want to highlight, because son bastantes. And it's like you said, it's almost 40 albums that you've recorded on. I'm just gonna go through them. We've got this All Stars. We've got Your Daughter Maritza. We've got Fandango USA. You're with Los Casinos. There it is. No miro. Fandango también.
Es Fandango is when I wasn't playing the drums at that time.
Okay. Fandango, there you are. Otra vez Fandango USA. Of course, anybody that doesn't know that Mr. Balde Munoz is one of the Charanga Kings, he is. All right. Aquí, Fandango USA. I guess I'm going backwards. Fandango USA. Look at how many albums. Fandango USA. Fandango USA. Fandango USA. Laura Canales. What was the name of that band?
Era Laura Canales en Encanto, nomás que I had signed a contract with Freddie to record an album with Laura with Música Internacional. So that was that album.
Wow. Okay. Let's get...
nos desviamos un poquito de la música tejana y le grabamos un álbum internacional.
And there she is again, and that's Midnight Blue, Laura Canales. What band was this with?
Era lo mismo. It was our band, right? Nomás que I featured her because before that it was a Grupo Felicidad with her singing. And then I decided to put her name up front, and it was Laura Canales y el Encanto.
There you go.
But it was, the same guys, or some of the same guys.
So those of you that don't know, those of you that don't realize, Laura Canales, did she have her start with the band there, or had she started somewhere else?
Como la historia que sé yo es que cuando estaba mediana cantaba once in a while con el Conjunto Bernal.
Oh.
You see, Conjunto Bernal, Laura Canales, Oscar Solis, they were all from Kingsville. Oscar Solis was our keyboard player and a forever keyboard player. And cuando formamos los primeros únicos, Laura lived across the street y estaba chiquilla, ¿no? And that's when we knew of her. And then the next thing dijeron que ya había crecido y le ayudaba Conjunto Bernal. And once in a while when we would play with Los Únicos, she would go with Oscar to the hall, whatever. And ya sabía Oscar que cantaba inglés también, ¿verdad? So Snowball, Dios lo tenga en paz, would call her up on stage and she would go up and sing a couple of songs, And anyway, that's another story. When we started Snowball and Company, that's when we brought it into professionally.
All right, let me keep on going with her. And yes, you can go to Es bastante. We're probably going to have to do part 2, part 3, and part 4. Here she is again, Laura Canales with también Encanto, dice Encanto. With Felicidad. Laura Canales en Felicidad. Otra vez con Felicidad. Here we go. Snowball and Company. The legendary Snowball. Ahí, Snowball and Company, ahí están. Con el Güero Polvos,
Yes,
Snowball.
sir.
Con Los Únicos. You're part of Los Únicos too. You just have an amazing history, sir. Just amazing. Ahí está, con Carlos Guzmán y su conjunto. Ahí están con Los Únicos. El hit de Carlos Guzmán, vestido de blanco. You were part of that.
Right.
All right. Con Los Únicos también, joven fui. Con Los Únicos. Ahí está. ¿Quién es? Estos los fabulosos, no?
No, los únicos.
Los Únicos, there you go, Los Únicos. All right. There's Fandango. All right. Where do you want to start out of all? That was just some and that's not all of them. That's not all of them. I mean, when I was seeing this, I'm telling you, I already admired you before just simply because from my generation, it was charanga, you were charanga king. But to realize that you went that far back and without offending anybody, eres chingón.
Oh, yeah. Yes, for sure.
No, para nada, para nada. I'm just humble and appreciative, and that to have shared the stage with so many great talent, on muchos músicos legendarios. I feel humbled to have shared the stage for many years with a lot of great singers, great guitarists, everything, bass players, keyboard players, accordion players, and
Yeah.
some of them are still there. They're still going strong, and some of them have retired. Some of them are no longer with us, pero así es la vida. Pero si me permite, déjame mandarle un saludo a todos los que se están comunicando al programa, por favor, ¿verdad? De parte de Balde Munoz, desde acá del Valle de Texas, desde parte de Gigi y Lori Jean, ¿verdad? Un abrazo a todos ustedes y pues que siga la onda tejana, no se olviden de los viejitos, ¿verdad? Aquí andamos todavía. And pues I have some stories to tell, I guess, about the albums, or well, I'll just go back to Los Fabulosos Cuatro when I went to the service and when I came back, and I had gone to school for a couple of years, right, to college here, que ahora es UTPA, right? Ya está bien grande, una universidad grande, ¿verdad? Yes. Pero at the time, cuando regresé de Vietnam, my thoughts, well, cuando estaba allá, ¿verdad? Dice, pues I'm going to go back to school, right? And get my degree. So I thought, right? So cuando regresé, pues me junté luego con mis camaradas, como hermanos que hemos sido forever. Mel Villarreal y Shore, the late Snowball, pues mi hermano güerito. And ahí me fui a la vuelta con ellos, ¿verdad? Con Juanito, Dios lo tenga en paz, the drummer. And aquí había bailes en los lunes que los hacía el promoter Paulino Bernal at the old Civic Center, who was on 10th Street and the Expressway. They tore it down. Yeah. Ahí hacían los bailes grandes en los lunes. And se llenaba.
On a Monday night? That's incredible.
Night. Yeah, because he brought the idea from Corpus Christi. Había un señor ahí que se llamaba Domingo Peña. Yeah. And he started that Monday night dances.
Oh. Wow.
And also Joe Lozano from Alice también hacía bailes, Mondays también. Total, comencé a ir al baile aquí, ¿verdad? A ver los amigos. Y entre ellos venía a tocar un amigo que era from Fremont, Texas. Se llamaba Wally Almendaris, and he had una orquesta. Y yo lo conocía a él because my grandparents and my parents came from Falfurrias and Fremont. Oh. Y cuando íbamos a visitar, my cousins, a lot of cousins from there were músicos. Y pues Wale, he was from Fremont. Y pues nos juntábamos allá para changuear y otro. So yo conocía a Wale desde hacía mucho. So cuando regresé de Vietnam y que venía a tocar aquí, y él me decía, güero, vente conmigo en la tambora. Digo, no, hombre, ya no voy a tocar. Digo, I'm gonna go back to school, right? No, hombre, nada más, que no, hombre, I'm out of practice, man, you know, ya estoy bien rusty, el otro. Y no, hombre, me estuvo terqueando bastante hasta que dijo, mira, nomás ayúdame 2 semanitas. Órale.
That was El gancho.
So, pues me metí con Wale, right? We would go to Dallas and this and that. Y grabábamos con Disco Zarape y anduve. Pero he knew Mel and Snowball también, ¿verdad? And we were all real close friends. So, cuando se venía para acá, para el valle, a la vuelta Wale, pues nos juntábamos todos. Y siempre Wale quería hacer una band con Güero, con Snowball y con Mel. Y of course que, for me on the drums and this and that. Y pues que sí, que no, y que el otro. Finally, pues this is the history going towards Los Únicos, right? Finally, pues que se va a hacer la banda, pues órale. Éramos 7 guys, so I think 7 guys. And entre ellos andaba Floyd Hanna también, the keyboard player de aquí. Y the late, iban a andar, ¿verdad? The late Snowball, and of course Mel Villarreal, myself, Wale, no me acuerdo quién la guitarra.
By the way, no cualquiera nombres que estás diciendo. No, no cualquiera, no son cualquiera nombres. Go
Sí, no,
ahead.
pues puros amigos, digamos, legendarios. Y...
Yeah.
So, make a long story short, no se pudo hacer la band because of some contractual things with the Fabulosos Cuatro. And so quedamos nada más Wale as our leader, Wale Mendaris. And entonces Oscar Solis was going to be on the keyboards. Well, actually more on the accordion. He was an accordion player first. And Wale on saxophone and vocalist. And we had un amigo que también ya murió, se llamaba Raúl Romero. He had played guitar with el Conjunto Bernal. And he was originally from Illinois. Anyway, como quiera él en la guitarra. And Juan Vélez, otro músico de aquí del Valle. Juan Vélez anduvo con varios grupos de aquí. He was on the bass. So our first gig with the Wally Armendariz fue en Kingsville, un salón que se llamaba La Jabalina. So we played, right? And it was without, of course, Snowball and Mel, right? It was just a little group que habíamos quedado. We were 6 guys. Y pues se acabó el baile y todo, y luego pues Wally, oye, bueno, quiero hablar contigo. Le dije, ¿qué pasó? He said, man, this is not what I really wanted, huh? He said, I really wanted Snowball and Mel in the band. Digo, pues no se pudo hacer, Wally. Dijo, pues yo le voy a dar por otro lado. Le dije, no, pues órale, I mean, everybody has a right to do whatever they want, right? Mm-hmm. So ahí nos quedamos los pollitos sin leader, right? So, pues ya junté a los muchachos ahí, a Oscar y a Raúl y a Juan y myself. And, pues órale, ¿qué hacemos? Pues vamos a seguirle, ¿qué vamos a seguirle? Y yo, pues sí, ¿quién se va a encargar? Pues tú anduviste con los fabulosos y que sé que sí, pero pues nomás anduve, ¿verdad? Y hombre, que tú, que... Y bueno, ¿cómo le ponemos? Y bueno, ¿sabes qué? Pues más antes íbamos a ser los únicos 7 o qué sabe qué. Dije, let's name the band Los Únicos, nomás. Just Los Únicos. ¿Los Únicos qué? No, nomás Los Únicos. Y así nació el nombre de Los Únicos.
Oh.
It was Oscar Solis on the accordion keyboards. Pues we had Tacho Rivera already singing. We brought Tacho in. Yeah.
No
and
wow, that is.
Yeah. Well, Tacho was already there when Wally was there. But anyways, Oscar Solis y Tacho Rivera y Juan Vélez on the bass and Raúl Romero on guitar and myself on the drums. So we recorded. There's a couple of albums que te mandé unos pictures. With the original Los Únicos.
Pues a ver si, porque desde donde lo miro yo ya se pone bien chiquitos los fotos. A ver,
No, ese es Los Únicos. The afterwards.
Afterwards, okay. I'm just trying to look at some. No,
that's something else.
But you know what's really awesome, and I always bring it up, the album covers that y'all did later while Gigi's looking for the photo, the album covers for Los Únicos. Like, I know Chota told us one about the story about the one where y'all looked like you were in jail.
Sí, ese es de Los Únicos.
Oh, yeah.
Ahí va, ahí está uno. No, ya te pasaste.
Go back to that one. Yeah.
It's the first one, the first album de Los Únicos with Discos Bego. And that's Tacho in the middle and Oscar Solis and on the one side and the bottom, and then Raúl Romero, and on top Juan Vélez, and I'm on the other corner with dark hair. That was Joven Fui, se llamaba ese. And then there was another one donde estamos vestidos de cada quien with different weird outfits. No,
No?
weird outfits. No.
Alright.
Estaba cerquita de los que te mandé ahora. He was next to the yellow one. But anyway, como quiera. No,
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 those album
It's
covers.
just that there's so many. Y se mira,
sí,
mira.
no hay cuidado. So
Oh,
it was, we recorded, no,
hey, there's my dad. I've never seen that pic. You'll have to send
There's
that.
a reunion picture.
como quiera, we recorded those two albums. Los Únicos, uno with Discos Bego from McAllen, and then another one with Discos at Zarape from Dallas. And we toured for a couple of years as the original Únicos, los primeros Únicos. And then, by that time, Snowball and Mel had finished their contractual obligation, whatever you call it, ¿verdad? Con los Fabulosos. And they had decided to form a band, right? Y nosotros, como los Únicos, we were thinking of stopping the band for a while because things were kind of slow, and this and that. We hadn't had like a big hit or anything. We were just rolling along with the help of my brother Oscar. He kept us busy como quiera, ¿verdad? And
And
paying the bills and whatever. And we were all single at the time, pero we still could, live under our parents' roof, right?
Oh,
Yeah, pero so it just worked. It was the right timing. Todos los músicos que menciono nos juntábamos aquí en FAR. At that time was the in thing nightclub, era una cantina, se llamaba el Sahara. Ahí iba Cecilio y ahí iban todos. So ahí estábamos Mel y Snowball y yo platicando, y me dijo Mel que ya ellos se iban a salir de los Fabulosos, ¿no? En que iban a formar una band. ¿Y cómo andábamos nosotros? Y dije, well, as a matter of fact, we're kind of gonna disperse ya la banda esta. Dijo, pues vente con nosotros. Y le dije, pues, órale, ¿no? And then le dije, ¿quién va a cantar? Pues andamos buscando whatever. Le dije, pues ahí está Tacho, ¿verdad? I love the way Tacho sang, ¿verdad?
yeah.
Y fuimos y hablamos con Tacho de esa misma noche. And then, of course, Oscar Solis came into the picture. So, es cuando se juntó esta new formula de los Únicos. We kept the name, and I told him, but we're already recording with Sarape Records. Why not just keep on recording there? Y hablé con Johnny González, the owner, y digo, sí, pues vénganse para acá, of course. He was thrilled to death because he knew about Snowball and Mel, right, too. So, entonces ya los Únicos se formaron Melio Real, the late Snowball, Oscar Solís, and Tacho Rivera, and myself. And that was the second época de los Únicos, right? And pues then we elected Mel to take care of the bookings because he had more experience than us, and we were all equal partners, And so ahí cambió la onda con los Únicos. It was a different thing, a different formula, different music, más avanzada con the late Snowball. Tremendo. He had so much experience. Tejano, mariachi, trio, you name it, rock and roll. Todo. So we did a little bit of this and that.
Now, you as the drummer, now we've talked about this a lot where en la época de ustedes era donde se está combinando la música que era mexicana, regional, and you're being influenced, my dad, Lori's dad, Snowballs, getting influenced by the Beatles and rock and roll and combining it. You as the drummer, did you see the difference in the beats? Were you part of that where you said, why don't we do a little, no sé, me estoy imaginando, but since you were part of that, I know everybody else was kind of, starting their own thing and did you contribute to that? What did you feel about that experience?
Oh, yes, we did a lot of that. We surely did. Because, como te digo, the late Snowball tenía muchas ideas, along with Mel, and everybody contributed, right? Pero we would get like a song de José Alfredo Jiménez, por ejemplo.
Yes.
And la misma melodía y todo, but we would put our own thing in there. And in between, like when you're going to go into the bridge or the chorus or whatever, we would do like a little rock beat, tum, tum, pa, que te que pa, ye, pum,
Yeah.
pum, pa, ye, ay, pajari, or whatever, pajari, or so we did on, I mean, we have a lot of albums of Los Únicos on there. We had a lot of that. And then we would record, it was a big variety of music. We recorded Cotton Eye Joe, like that country tune, right? We did uh, some country tunes, and Snowball would recorded some English tunes, and we did that since the Fabulosos, we did. Pero con los únicos, it was a different feeling. It was a different thing, and a lot of that changes from ranchero to a little bit of rock, and back to ranchero and merengue, just a lot. And then I want to add that all of the guys in Los Únicos were songwriters, right? Including Oscar Solis.
Uh,
Porque Oscar no escribía mucho, pero escribió una canción que se llamaba Mi Güerita Preferida y se la tocaba
Mhm.
mucho. But Tacho was a tremendous songwriter. He wrote so many great songs, Mi Prietita Consentida, and a lot of songs. Mel Villarreal, que no se diga. He wrote El Güero Polvos, the Snow, in other words, Snowball, right?
yeah.
El Güero Polvos, and una cumbia que le grabaron muchos grupos, including Más, La Suegra Chiflada. No, he wrote many songs. Tasha
Wow.
wrote many songs. And of course, Snowball wrote many songs. I
Yeah.
wrote a few songs. Tasha and I collaborated on un bolero que se llamaba Mi Único Cariño. And
Oh,
when I wrote some rancheras and unas cumbias y merengue. Pero I don't know, we wrote a lot of the material. And a lot, como te digo, de músicos, cantantes, canciones mexicanas or whatever, wherever we would grab them, que nos gustaba. We would do our own little thing, twist
yeah.
to it.
Wow. And that's,
Pause for a little bit.
yeah.
Lord Jean, sorry.
Go
Just
ahead.
to hi to everybody. Mr. Chris Rodriguez is out there. Lencho Palacios over there from Corpus. Daniel Garcia says, thank you for posting on my group page. I post on all the group pages. Thank you guys for accepting my post because, I mean, this is just so awesome. Come on. Come on, we got Balde Munoz here. So thank you guys, all of you groups out there that accept my post for Giras y Desveladas. Thank you so much. Appreciate it so much. Love you guys. Oscar Galvan, Tina Martinez. Hi Tina. Uh, so saludos to everybody. So yeah, so you're throwing out big names, Mr. Balde Munoz. You're talking about Tacho Rivera. You're talking about Snowball. You're talking about Mel Real. Mel Real, you're coming on. If you're watching, you're next. Eventually, but you're talking about some big names and big hitters de la onda tejana. Cuando se comenzó, ni se decía que era tejano. ¿Cómo se decía la música?
Pues música chicana, música tejana, ¿verdad? And
Yeah,
of course, en ese tiempo no había mucho norteño. I
right.
mean, había norteño en México, y aquí poquito en la frontera. Ramón Ayala is an exception, right? And los Tigres del Norte en California. Pero había mucho, yo le llamaba conjunto regional, pues los dos Gilbertos, like Tony de la Rosa, Rubén Vela, all those
Yes,
Valley conjuntos, pues
right.
es otro sabor, como ahora los Delta Boys, and some
Yeah,
of the homies in this. Pero la música tejana en aquellos tiempos era like big band, right? Tenías a Sunny Osuna, a Little Joe, uh, Alfonso y Rubén Ramos, uh, the Sun Glows, and the Peppers, and the orquestas, ¿verdad?
uh-huh.
And then when we came in, como Carlos Guzmán y los Fabulosos Cuatro, que we integrated a little bit of English songs in there, que Mohair Sam y que quién sabe qué, whatever, pues ellos se quedaban viendo, like, what kind of band are you? Are you a conjunto or not? Pues we're a conjunto, pero I guess we're different, right? Or something, I don't know, right? So we just, como quiera, we came kind of in the middle of big bands y conjuntos regional, right? We were like a 5-piece band, and then cuando se integraron los keyboards, synthesizers and that, pues ya era un poco más diferente. So ya se hizo más popular the 5-piece groups, ¿verdad? Así con keyboards and this and that.
Yeah, again, going back to for all the because I'm watching all these new artists and a lot of female artists, que might not realize that your era, your época, su época era el tiempo. I call it like the Renaissance porque you're blending, and pues my dad's name was actually Los Chicanos, but de Los Chicanos because
Right.
you're blending. It was the Hispanics are being blending their music with what was being heard, and that's why pues there really was no category yet que digan aquí está la música tejana. No, esta es la música, bueno, no es norteña, no es regional, no es, it's not rock and roll, it's not the Beatles. ¿Dónde está este?
I think Choda mentioned something like that, and sometimes they'd call it Tex-Mex on the radio. So that's interesting, like even before they said Tejano. But we've had a lot more comments. Yes. Oscar. Joe Fonseca said, great seeing you, Balde. You guys were awesome musicians. And then, of course,
Thank
Oscar
you.
Galvan. Chris said hello to us and to Mr. Munoz. Greetings, ladies and Mr. Munoz. And you said Tina Martinez, but there was a
Davey Villa.
David, yeah, also. Daniel Garcia says, thank you for, oh, yeah, you already said that. Anyhow, yes, Mr. Oliva says, I believe that was Big Lou y los Muchachos.
I had a question about a song about, I'm going to drink just 1 6-pack. And then Mr. Joe Fonseca, thank you for joining us. He says I had to leave your interview, but that's okay because you can turn on your Roku channel to Tejano TV or go to tejanotv.com and watch the rest of it there. All right, little plug for us. Now I want to go and just really talk about. Now I'm gonna tell you my experience. I'll never forget. I was in elementary school. I was little, and I was hearing this song. Y no se escuchaban mujeres en el radio. And I heard, yo necesito saber. And this woman was part of your band, La Reina de la Onda. She was, phenomenal. She was inspirational. The talent was beyond what anybody, the talent was there. I got to see her live maybe once or twice, to tell you the truth, and my dad played with her in Los Fabulosos Cuatro, but I only got to see her, listen to her perform. Her pitch, perfect pitch, her range, amazing. This woman was amazing, and she was part of Grupo Que Felicidad. Was it? Well, what was it first?
Well, let me go back a little bit, right? Porque as we were talking about Los Únicos, anduvimos, several years together, bastantitos años, grabando y tocando y grabando y tocando. And I need to mention something before. There's so many things que se me están viniendo en la mente, right?
Yeah, es que
back with the first Únicos, I think, it was with Los Únicos anyway. I think we became like maybe one of the first, if not the first, but maybe one of the first bands with the light show, right? Let me tell you about the light show, right? Oscar Solis was very, ¿cómo se dice? Innovative or whatever, right? Pues un día vino con unos botes, right? De café, yo no sé de qué serían, pintados negros, right? And he had a light bulb in there or a floodlight, something. Y extensions y un switch para la pata, para off and on. ¿Y qué traes ahí, Oscar? Y dice, pues son luces para el stage. Y que he rigged it up himself, right? Pues sure enough, en la noche verde y colorado. Y que whatever, right? Digo, man, pues we didn't know anything about lights on stage. It was usually el foco del salón, right? And so I thought I would throw that in. And also, otro día vino con un aparato yo creo se llama Kaleidoscope or something. I don't know what. He would put it up, como los salones estaban chicos, right? He would put it up out there in front, corría extensions and duct tape. Entonces, él prendía esa cosa acá como estaba tocando, estábamos tocando. Y lo que you see right now, like, the big screens behind the bands and all that stuff, right? Pues no había eso para la onda tejana, no había eso, right? Back then. And so esa cosa kaleidoscope aventaba una luz with a lot of color figures just going round and round behind, through the band and behind the band. Y la gente se quedaba, oye, traen light show.
The
Pero
begin.
era Oscar Solís y sus cosas. Anyway, pero volviendo with the late Laura Canales, when we were Los Únicos, right? The second época de Los Únicos, pues llegó el tiempo cuando everybody ahí con Los Únicos siempre aspirábamos por algo más, algo diferente, what do we do next and this and that, right? Y todos como hermanos éramos partners, equal partners, and this, so lo que hicimos, nos separamos, right? And arreglamos con Mel, legally le pasamos el nombre y whatever, arreglamos con attorney, whatever, pero se quedó Mel y Snowball, se quedó Mel y Tacho on one side, and nos salimos Snowball, Oscar Solis and myself. So we formed a snowballing company.
Oh.
Y Mel allá siguieron Los Únicos y Tacho, ¿verdad? So snowballing company, we already knew Laura, right? And we knew that she could sing. We knew that she sang in choir. We knew, this and that. Porque con Los Únicos, como mencioné hace rato, Snowball would call her up on stage to come sing a couple of songs, right? So right away, con Snowball and Company, we wanted to do something different para la onda, ¿verdad? So we brought in Laura and the late Juan Rodriguez on bass. And of course, Snowball on guitar, myself on drums, and Oscar Solis on keyboards. So that was Snowball and Company. So por ahí están los pictures, ¿verdad? Estamos ahí en Red, White, and Blue y están otros ahí. Como quiera, we kept on recording. And at that time, it was still in the 70s, right? Like 76. No había females on the road casi, ¿verdad? And so there was, fue una novedad. Y como what you mentioned a while ago, Gigi, she could sing, right?
Oh, yeah.
She could sing. And the more she did it, the better she got. And then we would talk about the songs. Yo no le enseñé nada a ella, ¿verdad? Pero yo lo que le explicaba nomás, like, probably she already knew what I was saying, pero me hacía caso, o me ponía atención. Pero decía yo, look, every song is a story, right? It's either a love story, I hate you story, a sad story, or, right? Forgive me or come back. So you have to put yourself in that writer's, right? Lo que él quiere decir, right? Entonces, de por sí que cantaba con sentimiento, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Entonces te sale con más sentimiento. People will feel it, right? More. Porque hay muchos great technical singers, right? Vocalists que son tremendos, te cantan una nota bien alta o bien baja, whatever. But sometimes falta feeling, right? Falta del alma que salga de acá, que lo sienta,
Yeah.
que lo sientan los que te están escuchando, ¿verdad? I mean, you can make somebody cry with a song, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or laugh, or or hug your wife, or hug your husband, or something nearby, right? Because lo que según la canción, right? Or makes you sad, right? Que perdiste a tu papá o tu mamá, or, it's all kinds of songs, all kinds of stories.
Yes.
So, y como quiera, pues, Snowball and Company was another great época for us, right? Because it was different. And to me, pues eran talentosos, Snowball, Oscar Solis, and the late Juan Rodriguez, who was a bass player all his life, and with myself on the drums, and of course Laura. It was different. It was a young lady singing up front. And,
Oh, yeah.
y lo que hacíamos muchos canciones rancheras with three-part harmonies, right? I was used to that with Los Únicos, and so, Laura y Snowball y Juan y todos cantaban. Y si no, Snowball cantaba solo un rato, some of his songs and así. So that was another great época, Snowball and Company. And of course, Laura became la reina de la onda tejana, right?
Oh, yeah.
She won multiple awards and Tejano Music Awards and, everywhere.
Undisputed, yes. Que en paz descanse.
En
It was,
paz descanse.
it was a great loss to all. I was actually, yeah, I went to that funeral. It was a Alex Castillo wants to know, Balde, how were the recording studios back then? Good question.
Well, Alex, I can start when if there was a three-part harmonies, there was only one mic, so you had to sing el que
Get
te
it right.
cantara más fuerte, pues más para atrás y el otro más para enfrente, y hasta que el ingeniero he would level the voices, right? Sometimes I recorded with one mic on the drums, or maybe two mics on the drums, right? But of course, everything changes, right? But now they mic everything,
Yeah.
everything, and you can do miracles, you
Yeah.
know. Bueno, depende del ingeniero,
No, people can sing now that can't sing. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's about all I can tell. I'll
Thank you
say.
about that story about and it's important I think for a lot of people to know that the beginnings of Laura Canales, you were part of that beginning de que la reina, the undisputed reina para siempre, forever de la onda tejana was Laura Canales. Of course, there's the other reina, que Selena it's a
Claro.
no sé, it's not disputed, pero
Oh,
la
no, no.
original is.
Mhm.
Thank you for that information. Y luego, all right. So then se sale Laura or whatever happens.
Mm.
And when
No,
does, when
there's
does, dime.
okay.
Dinos.
It was Snowball and Company, right?
Right.
And we recorded and we toured and we did everything. And then, como he mencionado antes, de los cinco únicos, casi todos querían hacer algo solos o en combination acá, como le hicimos ese split de los únicos, right? Then Snowball quería hacer algo él solo, right? So he left Snowball and Company. Entonces yo le cambié el nombre a la band a Felicidad, Grupo Felicidad, with Laura, on the
Yeah.
vocals. And I brought in a guitar player, right? And Snowball formó otros grupos allá, andaba The New Wave Band y grababa con mariachis y grababa. He did a lot, ¿verdad? On his own.
Because
Yeah,
he was so talented, he could do whatever he really wanted in
of
cualquier,
course.
in
Oh,
any,
yes.
but yeah.
Yeah, he brought, como mencionó Armando Chore, he brought like a new dimension in guitar playing to la onda tejana que conocía todo el mundo. There was other guitar players, uno que including Snowball and we all admired was Joe Ramos. He was es hermano de Rubén Ramos y Alfonso Ramos, de late Alfonso. He was a real good guitar player too, pero él era otra ondita, pero Snowball traía más alegría, rock, and no. Anyway, como
Yeah.
quiera, everybody knows that. So,
Yeah.
como quiera,
Well,
formó.
so para los que no saben,
Yes, but there's a
It's
lot of people that don't know that. And,
yeah,
so many people after that emulate Snowball's sound. So
yeah,
for you guys to explain it, because unfortunately, he was, I remember meeting him and growing up with him around us at, throughout the years. Snowball would be around at some point in the year. He also recorded with my dad when I was in high school. They did another new thing, like you're saying. They move on to something else and create something else. And as they move on and change the musicians, the sound changes a little bit. And, their collaborations evolve into something else. And it just, that's fascinating. And you say that, Mr. Balde, like everybody knows, but a lot of the people watching that will watch, they don't know. We know because we've
but
been
no,
around. But a lot of people don't know. They know what's new online or on TikTok or on Facebook, and they don't realize, some of those sounds that are coming back or some of those things, who created those. So
yeah.
Yeah, pues,
that's awesome that you're sharing that with us.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Sí, pues your snowball was tremendous. So were your dads, right?
Mhm.
And so se fue snowball and anduvo él allá ¿verdad? Con lo de él y con Cecilio y después, como me vuelvo a mencionar, uh, I go back to Los Únicos, right? Que everybody aspired to do something else. So then se juntó Snowball y Tacho Rivera, right? And they had their own onda for a while, right? Y
Yeah.
Mel siguió Los Únicos de Mel Villarreal, right? So
Yeah.
that he had his own thing going, and from Los Únicos, right? And Los Únicos de Mel Villarreal and Tacho and Snowball had,
Nobody got
Snowball.
part of that.
Y nosotros, Oscar and I, from Los Únicos, we had Grupo Felicidad now with Laura Canales. So we did that all the way to 1985. At the end of the year, Laura decided to go back to school and get her degree. So she went back to Kingsville, to school in Kingsville. And I had already played together, shared the stage, well, with Felicidad. We played one time with Johnny Hernandez and the Third Coast. Johnny Hernandez's brother, the Little Joe. He had
Oh,
a big band, the Third Coast se llamaba. He went on his own, right? And ahí traía, yo creo hasta 3 keyboard players, right?
wow.
And if I'm not mistaken, one was Julian Carrillo, who was the keyboard player for the Latin Breed for a long time. Hugo Guerrero was one of the other keyboard players, because Hugo Guerrero is a tremendous keyboardist, right? And Hugo ahí en ese baile cantó una cumbia, ¿verdad? Se llama Amparito, parece, Amparito. Y me gustó y ahí lo conocí yo, ¿verdad? Y el guitar player que traíamos nosotros en ese tiempo con Laura era amigo de Hugo, because they were both originally from Laredo, Texas. Right? So anyway, ahí platicamos y todo. Y me dice, Ever era el guitar player que traíamos nosotros. Dice, oye, dice Hugo que si no hay chance para él aquí. Le dije, no, hombre, pues we have Laura. Bueno, está bueno si hay algún día, porque they were gonna break up at the end of the year, the Third Coast. He was looking for something else, right, Hugo? And it just so happened que at the end of the year, Laura went back to school. Entonces, pues me acordé de Hugo y le digo a aquel, pues vamos a buscarlo. And sure enough, he came to audition right away at the beginning of the year. Y pues we loved his voice, right? Estaba bien jovencito y cantaba así al estilo de Los Únicos y, Tacho y stuff. Y ya hicimos trato, ¿verdad? Lo ocupamos y le puse a la banda Fandango, ¿verdad? Era from Felicidad. Well, con Laura we went to Felicidad, then I changed it to feature her from Laura Canales and canto, and then of course después cuando salió le puse Fandango. So that was when Fandango was born. And Hugo was our vocalist. Oscar Solis and I were partners with that band. And we had Juan Rodriguez on the bass, and I think Miro on the guitar. And pues otros legendarios, ¿verdad?
Oh,
Miro
yeah.
Valdez and Johnny Rodriguez, the late Johnny Rodriguez. So we started recording right away, pues still with Freddie Records. Le dije, pues voy a cambiar drastically, ya no hay mujer, puros hombres. And they didn't know who, pero, I appreciate the fact that Freddie Records, they always, they said, they trusted me that I would get, the right elements, the bands, right? Dice, yo no sé cómo le haces para sacar esta raza del valle y que este y el otro, right? they come, right? Or they join us, or we look for them, or whatever, right? So anyway, we were lucky que within 30 days we had recorded a CD, as Fandango, and with Freddie Records. And there was the first song we recorded, we released, se llama Yo No Te Pido La Luna. And it got a lot of airplay. It's sufficient enough to keep us working with the help of my brother Oscar, ¿verdad? Que
no para.
Era bien perica, ¿verdad? Oye, ahora traemos esta onda y que quién sabe qué, que whatever. Sure enough, And I knew a lot of promoters. We knew a lot of promoters, and I guess they trusted that we would take him a good show. So we would practice and practice, of course, right, with the new show. And y pues así le dimos. And I went through a lot of changes with the Fandango, but I kept it going for 15 years
Oh,
before I retired.
Well, let's
So
back
and
in.
there's some photos there with
Yeah,
Fandango.
a ver si los puedo ver. No, es
Es
felicidad.
with Felicidad, with Laura y Felicidad.
There we-
Laura,
Ahí estamos.
ahí está. That was the second album de Fandango. This is the first one.
That's the first.
That's Oscar Solis y Hugo there in the back. And Denny Garcia, the late Denny on guitar, and Porfi Alvarado he was from Laredo also on bass, and I'm on the drummer.
And a ver, more fandango right there.
More Fandango.
More fandango.
Okay, now that's another época de Fandango.
Oh, different época.
Yeah, because, well, Hugo anduvo conmigo, I don't know, years, right? And then, of course, he aspired to want to do his own thing, right? So, yeah, go for it, man. But I mean, I'm not the type of guy que, hombre, que yo que te, que ese, but hey, dale gas. I have been through a lot of changes, and I mean, you work hard, you need luck and you need talent, and a break here and there, and in order to keep on working, right? So se fue Hugo, ¿verdad? Y se juntó con otros, a lot of big talented musicians. They formed the New Wave Band. Oh, he formed another band, Party Band, algo así. And y entonces I knew this gentleman, gran amigo nuestro, great drummer and vocalist, Wale Garza, from McAllen.
Mhm.
And I had seen him playing drums and singing country with I think it was Bo Garza, a country band que era muy popular. En ese tiempo, igual was on drums and he would also sing. So anyway, una vez fui a hablar con él en uno de los shows y le dije, oye, bro, andamos buscando un cantante, el otro, en la onda tejana, whatever. Y pues ya nos pusimos de acuerdo and well, sure enough, he joined us. And pues a practice otra vez, ¿verdad? What do we do different? So, another strategizing, right? Well, why don't we do this and that and whatever? The attire, que la música, it's a little bit of everything, right? And record and record and record. So Wale recorded with us 2 or 3 CDs. And then he wanted to do his own Tejano band, right? And then Hugo didn't, I'm not going to, ¿cómo te diré? He decided he didn't want to do it on his own, right? So he asked for his job back. So it worked perfectly for us. ¿Verdad? Vale fue y Hugo entró, right? So then we kept recording more Fandango USA back with Hugo, right? Then otra salida que se dio Hugo, I had another vocalist, se llama Alberto González.
Go to the pictures, a ver, ¿no? Sí,
No, ahí está Hugo. Dale. No, ese es el 10th anniversary. Ahí no estoy yo because I had suffered a heart attack and the cardiologist dijo, no stress, no traveling, no drumming for a while. So that drummer there, if you want to go back, el chiquito, peloncito que está aquí, abajo, next to Hugo, él es Lalito Reina.
What?
El esposo de él y de Reina.
You look so young.
Yeah, I knew that family since Lalito was born, and he was 8 or 9 years old, and he was playing drums, all the Fandango songs, all the Laura songs, everything, and he played with Jennifer Peña when he was a teenager. Todavía que eran todos teenagers,
Sí.
and then cuando I had to stop playing, he was the first one I called. Hey, Lalito, you know the songs, man. Órale. So he came and he joined us for a while. Yeah.
Wow.
And I would travel, when I could with the band.
There's Lalito. Wow.
Hey, Lalito. And
Save that for Don Lalo. He's actually going to be our guest next week, si Dios quiere. Sí.
And I know my parents went to hear Wale play somewhere last week. He's still playing. Garza. He was playing somewhere in Mission, I think, that they went to watch him a week or a couple of weeks ago.
Wale.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he does a lot of country and Tejano, and tiene sus lugares donde toca semana tras semana, and he caters a lot to some of the winter tourists and the locals, a lot of locals, because he's got a great variety of music, toca de todo y toca muy bien y canta muy bien, Wally. Yeah, he's a
Uh,
good friend.
Mr. Noe Avalos says saludos from Immokalee. I don't know how to
Oh,
say that, Florida.
Immokalee,
Immokalee, okay.
Florida.
Glory and Mr. Balde. My brother Eric E. Rock Avalos and I, both being musicians, have followed La Onda since we were both kids and big fans of everything from back then, including and especially Mr. Balde's contributions to La Onda with Los Únicos, Laura, and Fandango. I do believe we got the chance to meet Mr. Balde at dances down here. Our uncle had a band called La Fuerza Música de
Sí.
Loya. Well, this is a very, very cool. Ya no se ve más, pero thank you so much y saludos. And
Saludos.
saludos and saludos. Let me take a quick. Let's see. Alex Castillo, Mary Lou Guerrero, my sister, love you. Oscar Galvan, Bobby Cricket Aguilera, Antonio Jaramillo, Robert Vasquez. All right. Thank you so much for everybody watching and tuning in. La historia de Mr. Balde Muñoz es inmensa, es importante, es significante para todos en la onda. And I am Lori, I know you're feeling it too. I feel so honored that we're doing this, that we got you to talk about your history and your background and how you were part of building that base, that foundation for La Onda Tejana. And I just want to thank you again por hacer esto. And I do feel a part 2, part 3, part 4 coming on.
No.
Oh, well.
It's all, I think it's so it just shows how humble you are that you say, well, I was just a musician and I was lucky and played with talented people, and you are that humble legend that someone, the comment that the person finished is saying that it's much needed to help educate and revitalize La Onda. The person from Florida, that was the end of his comment, which is Noe Avalos, which is true. Like you mentioned, Mr. Balde, you said, but we know that you said, that, but people don't. And, it's really a privilege for us to have you here and to share that with us because, like Gigi mentioned from the beginning, when we say Tejano legends, you're right up there with those, like Mr. Balde.
No, but thank you for your kind words. Of course, I'm just blessed to have shared the stage with a lot of talented musicians from all over the place. And I really, nunca hicimos dinero, like, whatever, como ahora hacen mucho dinero, but you know what? I made a lot of friends all over the country. And to me, I still stay in contact with some of them. Call me, some of the musicians who were with me throughout the years. We still stay in touch, right? And we talk about this. We reminisce here and there, like there, right?
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know, it makes me feel happy to know that some people still remember us, right? And of course, friendship to me is the best thing.
And that's the goal, is that not that just your friends know who you are and that your friends' children like us know who you are. For everybody else that's watching and has a chance to see this, that they know what an important part of history that you are. You're a treasure to Tejano industry. I mean, el que sabe es que necesitas, needs to research a little bit and find out, because you are, you are, along with our dads, part of what became La Onda Tejana, que ahora, maybe they know, maybe they don't know, but we want to make sure they know, right, Lori?
Yes, and we can share the albums, we can look it up and share it on our page, Gigi, the music, and and so people can go and listen to some of these, some of the music that you helped to create. And for anyone watching, you can do that. You can go to our page and check it out. And it's Giras y Desveladas. It's on Facebook. I know, Gigi, you have a YouTube channel. We're gonna hook up.
Working on it, yeah.
To do, hook it up to the Facebook page so that you can see the music that Balde is talking about, the album covers, and hear it for yourself through there. But yes, and the covers, I always stop to talk about the covers and, the suits and the creativity, because they looked like nothing else,
Desde hace mucho tiempo, desde los únicos, I think Cecilio mentioned that we had a tailor in McAllen, right? And nosotros los únicos íbamos, y pues Cecilio, cuando ya tenía los casinos going, right? Íbamos ahí a donde venden géneros de ropa, right? Y pues, ¿a cuál te gusta? Pues el que esté más wild y que quién sabe qué, whatever.
Wow.
So we would, buy enough for the whole band. And the tailor was real good, right? So nos medía y y el otro, y pues nos hacía los trajes. And de todos colores, con parches o sólidos or whatever, right? And bell bottoms y whatever, all kinds of stuff. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Teníamos gorritas like that picture we're on with the polka dot drums and
let me picture
and bow ties y
that you were creating the sound, and then you were building the style around it that people could use to identify the music. It built like the identity. You guys did that, not just the music, but the styles and the covers and the designs. And you brought up the light show. That wasn't done before.
Thanks to Oscar Solis.
Wow, that and innovative. I think Chore called that Mexican ingenuity.
Yes.
Yeah.
At those times, no había nada de eso. You all wanted to be flashy. You wanted to bring the people in, and because that was your way of living, the way to put food on the table. So let's get the people in, ¿verdad? So you all that was of it.
I myself personally, and luckily with the guys I work with, we always believed in dress nicely, right? Dress up. If you want to be different as a band, pues, do something, dress differently, right? Si puedes, ¿verdad? Y si no, at least a nice. En ese tiempo se usaban mucho los trajes and stuff, right? Ahora muchos van a tocar en t-shirt y una cachucha al revés y whatever, but es la onda de hoy en día, right? I mean, nothing against it, right? Pero we all believed in that, back then, and I still do, right? And throughout the Grupo Felicidad, Noble and Company, as you can tell with the pictures, we try to dress as much as we could afford it, in other words, right? Pero, pues así siguió la onda, y pues con Fandango igualmente, ¿verdad? Cambiábamos vestuario, cuando cambiábamos cantantes, we would sit back and strategize again. ¿Qué vamos a hacer? Órale, pues, hazte un saquito con aquí cosas que cuelguen en los lados or something, right? And learn this
something
type of song. And I mean, I'm going back and forth, I guess, right? Pero
it's okay.
Una vez que cambiamos, cuando entró Wale con nosotros, Wale Garza, el difunto Jerry de la Rosa played keyboards. And he was from Fandango, se fue with Jay Perez for a while, right? And pero he was a great trumpet player. And in colegio, and no estaba en Lubbock, he was a number one chair all the time, y no sé qué. Pero entonces, guiding myself de que él tocaba trompeta and trying to do something different, because Wale was a new face to Fandango USA, a new face to our fans, and now are they going to accept it or not, or what, right? So besides his good voice and his personality, he was a good front man and everything. I put him up front, away from the drums, right? Not away from my drums, but from his drums, right? Pero what we did, we bought some mariachi hats, right? Los cinco, ¿eh? Pues tocábamos en ese tiempo tocabas 4 horas or, 2 hours and a break, and then an hour and a half or whatever. So we would play the first 2 hours, and the last song, I had by then we had a smoke machine, and and
Un poquito más avanzados.
sí, más avanzadito. And I even had a spotlight once in a while. I would tell the engineers what to do. Pues, en esta parte ponle la luz nomás a él, ¿verdad? Y o ponle nomás luces atrás, azulitas, and and baladitas. You know, the try to create the right atmosphere, right?
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, that's innovative. Very
Instead of que estén juggling luces y luces, But, so, como quiera, digo, on the last song, apaga todas las luces y prende la fog machine. And then yo tenía mi sombrero de mariachi right by the drums, en el piso. Entonces everybody knew, nos poníamos el gorro de mariachi y un zarape, ¿verdad? De volada un zarape. And yo me quedaba en los drums, y todos en su instrument, but late Jerry would take out the trumpet and he would play una melodía de mariachi, right? Despacito, bien padre. Y luego entraban las voces de trío y pues ya prendían las luces y entre el fog se miraban los gorros de mariachi. What's going on? Who's that? What band is that? Right? But it was just a gimmick, a little strategy. Y agarramos break.
Wow, now that's a show. So
Yep.
you're putting on a show.
Yeah, we would do that hasta que ya los sombreros estaban todos chuecos, los tiramos.
Saludos to Mr. Cecilio Garza watching. Dice saludos Balde, one of our mentors and true legend. Yes, sir. And
Saludos.
saludos.
Yes, my dad said earlier, he said, he said, oh, nombre Balde, you're going to need to do a part 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's what he said.
Falta todo fandango todavía.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're already at 1:51. We've been almost on for 2 hours.
You were right, Gigi.
I told you it's gonna go by really quick. I believe we are gonna need a part 2, but of course it's gonna be totally up to you at another time. Just to kind of just say to hi to everybody, to Chema Hernandez, my bestie, hello, Noe Avalos with that information, and everybody else that is watching.
Mm-hmm. There was Joe Escalante as well earlier. Hi, Joe.
There's
Robert Vasquez, Alex Castillo. Yeah. Thank you guys.
And there's a lot of people that will be watching us on Tejano TV, and we get shown 2 or 3 times a day. So, just go into Tejano TV, look for the talk. What is it, Tejano Talk? And you'll see Giras y Desveladas, and you'll see when we're on during the day. So to everybody that's watching us through Tejano TV or any other media, what a treat this is to be talking to Mr. Balde Munoz. And it's a bit of history. It's a bit of nostalgia, a little bit of everything, because this is part of the reason why we're doing Giras y Desveladas, to talk about that. Robert Segura says, I grew up with these bands. Yeah, we did too.
Hey, Robert.
And we talked about también, sadly, we talked about some of the tragedies that happened. Your brother and his whole band passed, and it just happened to have been Los Chicanos drummer también que iba con ellos. And that's some of the dark history that we have. Igual como my dad's best friend, Oscar Villarreal, a drunk driver también.
Right.
Se lo llevó. So, and there, those of you that are still on the road out there, all you Tejano artists that are out there traveling, cuídense mucho, because there's our history. There's our history, and we have to all take care of each other. Qué bonita conversación hemos tenido con usted, Mr. Balde Munoz, and I'm saying my goodbyes so you can say your goodbyes.
Yes, and if you would join us for another, like you said, the story of Fandango, you would say. So yes, thank you for being with us. And yeah, like Gigi said, it goes quick because you have so much to share, and we love to hear it. And so whenever at your convenience, we'll set up part 2.
thank you very much for the invitation. It was a pleasure being here with both of you. And again, las felicito a los dos por esta programación. It's so much great information for all los televidentes que nos están acompañando, ¿verdad? Y los que nos van a acompañar en el futuro. Gracias mil a todos ustedes. Un abrazo para todos de parte de su amigo Balde Muñoz. Y pues disculpen que los entretuvimos por 2 horas, pero todavía, si acaso me honran con otra invitación, pues les contaremos ahí de Fandango y sus aventuras, ¿verdad? And whatever else I can still remember. Thank you
Yes.
so much. Gracias a todos los que se comunicaron, ¿verdad? En la programación. Y para todos los que todavía se acuerdan de la música tejana, no se olviden, amigos, porque es de nuestra cultura. Como les mencioné primeramente, es música nuestra del México americano. Our culture, we need to keep it alive as much as possible. Si en las escuelas no les enseñan mucho de lo México americano, it's so sad, right? But we, thanks to both of you and to other media, ¿verdad? Que tratan de hacer lo mismo, pues que se quede grabada la historia de muchos músicos talentosos, que unos que ya no están con nosotros, están en mejor lugar, otros que ya no tocan, pero están en sus casitas. Por eso se empezó, bueno, después hablamos, ¿verdad, Gigi, de Tejano Legend Pioneers, right?
Oh, yeah.
Que todavía nos contamos, pero como quieres, this is for another show, another time.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much.
Thank you, Lori, for always being there to back me up. I had dog issues, I had door issues, and
It's okay. It's
there's
okay.
two.
But we'll add on our Facebook page again, Giras y Desveladas. We can share some of the music from some of the albums that Balde has talked about with us. So I'm excited to set that up. I'll be setting that up today, and for other people that have joined us today. So thank you again, and yes, thanks for having me, Gigi.
Oh, thank you for being such an awesome co-host. We're really blessed to have you have had you here today, Mr. Balde Munoz, and
My pleasure.
Dios quiera y lo podemos hacer otra vez. Reminders, guys, send stars to show your support for us and get us out there to a bigger media, to a bigger platform, porque this is really special. This is really important. Para nosotros que somos tejanos, nosotros que somos chicanos, que somos, no somos exactly todos mexicanos, no somos todos americanos, we're tejanos, and this is our history, and more importantly, this is our music history. So thank you to everybody watching. If I didn't give you all a shout out, let's see, learned a lot from Mr. Balde. Drummer to another, thank you, Samantha Simmons. So, Eddie Olivo también, firme entrevista. Bobby Cricket, truly amazing interview. Thank you, guys. Nothing but positive, and that thank you for all the love that everybody's showing to all our legends, to all our pioneers, because as the daughters of legends ourselves, qué más orgullo que escuchar que alguien hable bien de tu padre, bien de su música, bien de lo que hizo, sus hechos, Mr. Balde. That's why I put your daughter Maritza on there, because if she's watching, hi Maritza, your daddy's on here, and we are super proud of him. And I saw that background. I saw the background when your dad's playing drums and you're singing. There's not a bigger smile on that man's face. That's beautiful. That's just beautiful. A todos ustedes, we'll catch you next time.
La charanga viene después.
Yes, and
Yes.
our charanga king right here, and we just talked about his beginning. So we gotta talk about an update. That's the second part, because yes, el mero mero, como dice el mero mero mole. All right, we're leaving y'all for right now. And y'all leave your comments and anything you want to say, send stars if you'd like. Thank you so much. No puedo agradecerles suficiente por todo lo que hacen ustedes, and you, the legends, are doing for us, Mr. Balde Munoz. You're just incredible. So thank you, everybody. And stay on here while I get off the live, Mr. Balde Munoz, and we'll talk for a little bit. Bye, everybody. See you next next interview.
Sunday.
Yes, next Sunday
Oh
noon.
wait, Gigi, next Sunday is Easter.
Easter. I don't think we're gonna have a show on Easter, but you know what? I'm gonna rerun Mr. Eddie Perez's show. Hi, Mr. Eddie Perez, in case you're watching. I think I'll try to get his show out there on here too, so y'all can watch. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.